So this is how I get the perfect base for my makeup. There are two things that I do that I'm not going to include, but every 2 to 3 days I use these exfoliating pads. They're very gentle on the face. I have eczema and contact dermatitis. I'm also very allergy prone, and these are so soft on your face. It removes the kind of like the dryness and the dead skin cells that the makeup tends to stick to. I had the most hydrated base. It wasn't until I started using these that my makeup started to look really smooth. Also, every day in the morning when I do my skincare and also at nighttime, I use this hydrating serum. This one's from Boots. This just really helps to keep my skin very hydrated. But the prep that I do before I do my makeup, every time I do my makeup, is I use a hydrating facial mist. I then go in with my milky toner, and then I go in with my moisturizer. This one is the Simple Moisturizer. This one is really good if you also have allergy prone, sensitive eczema skin. So first I've used the mist, and while everything is wet I do my skincare, so I don't wait for it to dry. I use about this much milky toner. I go like this, and then I rub it all on my face, and if I have too much excess I then kind of like I bring it down to my neck. I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but I do it. So, and again, while it's still wet I go in with my moisturizer. Again, I just rub it and put it on. And if I'm going out and I'm not just doing a makeup look to stay inside, I will also use SPF. I use the Beauty of Joseon. I don't know how to pronounce it. I use this SPF. This is the best one. It doesn't make my makeup peel, and it's really good. So once my moisturizer is all mixed into my skin, I wait for that to dry, and then I go in with my makeup. Okay, once my moisturizer is all dry, I go in with the Maybelline Grippy Serum Primer. I use about just like 1 drop. I rub it and then I just mix it in. And then I wait about 30 seconds for it to get tacky. So once that has become tacky, I use the Tite Red Cushion Foundation in 13C. This one is really good. Like, if you're like me where I want to wear foundation but I don't like the feeling of foundation on my skin, it's amazing because all you do is you just like press it and that will literally cover half of your face. And the coverage, look, did you see that? The coverage is amazing. So this does oxidize a little bit, so I do like bring it down just so that if it does oxidize I don't have an orange face and pale neck. So because my nose and my forehead are my problem areas, I don't put the foundation directly on top. What I do is whatever's left on the lid, I scrape it, and then whatever's on the sponge I then use that on my forehead and on my nose. It still gives me the coverage of the foundation, but I just have figured that it doesn't cause me to have those dry patches, and where the foundation looks like it's literally sitting on top of my skin. So as you can see, my skin looks amazing. So for concealer, I use the Lasting Perfection Concealer from Collection. This is in the shade Porcelain 2. So I use about this much, and I just put it here. I don't really put it anywhere else on my face, and then I blend it straight away. And I also blend it onto my eyes and my eyelids, so that if I'm doing eyeshadow it creates like a nice base for it to stick to. And then just to make sure everything's blended, I go with my beauty blender and just go through the rest of my face just to make sure that like the foundation is blended and I don't have patches where I've missed. But yeah, as you can see, like my skin looks amazing and it doesn't feel like I have too much on. So before I do any powder, I actually go in with the Shigam like freckle stain thing. It's just because the powder that I use is so good that once I use this, like it does not budge and it makes my freckles look really bad. So I do my freckles first. And this foundation and concealer is so good that when I do the freckles on top, even though it's wet, it doesn't come off. So it's amazing. Okay, now that the freckles are done, I just kind of very lightly like tap so that they sit really nice into the skin. And then I go in with the Fit Me powder from Maybelline. This is the loose one. This is in translucent. I just get a big powder brush. This is from Real Techniques, and I just go all over my face. So I grab a small amount and I go into my hand because look, all that powder would have gone straight into my face, and then I just brush it onto my face, but I keep dipping into my hand because I want the powder to be evenly distributed so that I don't end up getting dry bits or it looks cakey, because I really don't want my makeup to look cakey. So another thing with doing the freckles like this, when I do my blush and my contour, it makes it look like the freckles are staying underneath my makeup, so I just feel like it makes them look a bit more natural. Whatever is left in my hand, I go in with my powder puff and I do my under eye. So again, as you can see, I put powder, but the makeup looks like my skin. It looks amazing. Okay, so this really isn't important. You can use any blush, contour, whatever you want to use, but I thought for the sake of the video I'll just show you what I use. So for contour, I use this Can Make. This is in 04. I only put this right there. So I literally just take a little bit and I blend it there. And then with this Real Techniques Everything Face Brush, I just blend it into this, nice and seamless. For my bronzer, I use this. This is from Misha. It is the Cotton Contour in Baked Bagel. I am very pale. This is actually a contour shade, but it is amazing as a bronzer shade. I just take a little bit and I put it on the high points of my cheek. And I take the bronzer and I just put it on the tip of my nose and underneath as well. One thing again that's amazing about this base is no matter how hard I rub, the makeup underneath doesn't come off. Today I'm going to use the MUA Dusky Rose Matte Blush Powder and then the Can Make P01 blush. Looks like this. I just take this Real Techniques Ultimate Multitasker blush. This is so pigmented. I literally just like that, and then I put it here on my face and I kind of blend it just a little bit. I feel like that just looks the best on my face. I also do a little bit under my nose, a little bit on the bridge, and on my chin as well. Sometimes I'll take the smaller side of the brush and just place it under my eye as well. I feel like that just looks so cute. And then with the Can Make blush, I just kind of only put it on the apples of my cheek and the bridge of my nose and my chin. Why not? To finish my makeup, I do use the Maybelline Grippy setting spray. This is amazing. Using the primer, the powder and the Grippy setting spray from Maybelline has evolved my makeup game. However, I use this at the end of my makeup, so I will show you that. Now my makeup is all done, I am going to lock everything in place with the setting spray. I don't know how much you're supposed to use, but I use that much. Normally I put on front glasses, but today I want you to see my eye look. But this is how my base looks with no filters, and that's how I get my perfect face.